you very much, June and Dr. Magara. It's a pleasure to have you answer the questions and moderate. Hey, I would like to thank each and every one of you who is submitting in their thoughts, opinions, and questions. Would like very much to hear from you, to know what you're thinking, but also to have some of your questions for the Q&A session. But as I'm talking right now, there are polls that are running, and these polls are asking several questions that I would like you to participate in. As somebody who is in the meeting, would be very glad to know what you think about the whole mentorship and mentee issue. Please take some time, take a moment, 1 minute or so, and look into the charts and check on the polls that are currently running. Some of the questions include, would you like to join a community of Christian mentees? Would you pay for a mentor? And another one says, what do you consider before choosing a mentor? I've actually seen someone already indicating, I think that's Sam Kakuru, who is really asking about the similar question down here. But I also saw someone, this is Mugisha, communication skills is what I could consider before I look for a mentor who can give a very honest feedback, commitment to mentor me, and the skills he has in the industry I am pursuing. Yes, use some of this knowledge to answer some of the polls that are coming up, and questions like, what has your experience been with mentorship?
As nations recover from COVID-19, people are looking for a way out. Entrepreneurship is one of those ways.
We need to look to the rest of the world for contracts, not grants, and then deliver at a global standard. Join us in creating a new beginning for Christian entrepreneurs in Uganda.
All right, hello everybody and welcome back. Thank you very much, James, for that first session. We're moving into the second section, which is after we talked about how to find a good mentor. We want to now talk about how can we, all of us who want to be mentored for our entrepreneurship, for our startups, for our businesses, how can we be that mentee that a good mentor is going to say, I want to mentor this young man. I want to mentor that young woman. And that is what AVODA is all about. We don't think of our students as students. That is not the relationship we are seeking. At AVODA, we are seeking to be mentors. And so, you know, it is a very important question for all of us. How can we be good mentees so that when a good mentor arrives, we can convince him or her to mentor us? How can we be good mentees so that we can benefit from programs like AVODA that is packed with amazing content to mentor you? How can we benefit at the maximum ability from these resources? So welcome back. This is the second half of the interview, and the topic is now being a good mentee. So James, welcome back.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. So let's go. I actually have 6 questions. I hope we can get to the end of it, but we have 6 questions in just 15 minutes. So we're going to be going at a sprinter's pace here. But if you don't mind, the first question that we have for you is, how do you choose your mentees? What makes you think, I want to mentor this person?
Well, there's those who come who request for mentorship. There are those that you choose. One of the key things that I'm looking for, if I want to be proactive, in the sense of looking for mentees, and I do this when I'm choosing professionally, when I choose the dentists who work with me. Let me use a professional example. One of the things I'm looking for is a teachable heart, a teachable attitude. That's a very, very key thing. Because there's no point struggling with somebody who knows it all. And if somebody exudes that kind of attitude, I will usually keep away from them. So I'm looking for that. And no one is perfect. I'm not looking for perfection. Otherwise, there would be no need for mentoring. But that is one. The ability to be open, to be teachable, to be open, to be vulnerable. One of the things that often happens with when you're looking for a job opportunity or looking for a mentor is you want to put your best front side in front, and that is natural. All of us want to present our best fronts, but is this person willing to admit? Do they have a heart that can admit they don't know? And sometimes I'm very deliberate in asking questions that where I probably already know they don't know, and I just gauge how they answer those questions. It's usually a good insight. And the ability to ask questions as well. I think that is the thing you're looking for is some level of hunger, if I may use the word hunger to learn.
Yeah, that's a great word. Yeah.
Yeah. And let me be brief so that we can go through many questions.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think that you kind of briefly mentioned this, but there are people probably that you don't want to mentor. You know, you take a look at this young man or woman and you say, okay, I'm going to stay away. So let me ask you, without any specific names or you know, proper nouns, have you turned someone down before? And tell us what happened, if so.
It happens quite a lot. And I can think of someone more recently that came and wanted to enter this relationship, and the more I got to know about the person, the more I was kind of turned off. Not only were they very, you know, I'll use the word arrogant, but it's usually not so obvious. If I can see a bit of arrogance when you're looking for an opportunity, then I know that when you get the opportunity, you'll multiply times 10. I could see that. But also, as I got to know more about details of character, I thought this may not be a good fit. So I'm usually looking for someone who is a good fit. I don't think I'm the answer to the world's problems. So I need to decide where I think I can be effective.
Okay. So, you know, at AVODA, we really believe in engagement, and we want to pick up all these amazing questions that are coming out of the chat room. And I'm sorry, we can't do all of that. We'll try to come back to that in the Q&A. But there is one question that relates to what you just said, which is from Ivis Quikizira. Is that correct? Ivis Quikizira. And he says, how do I quickly or easily tell that someone is actually reaching out to mentor me? That's a great question, I think, and it's a cultural thing. In Japan, I think, you know, there are certain motions, you know, the bowing and stuff like that. But in Uganda, how does someone know that, okay, James is reaching out to me and he wants to mentor me?
I think, well, a mentor will not be imposing. Usually they will not be imposing, at least in our context. I think somebody who imposes themselves, I'll be a bit cautious with. But there would be an invitation. I mean, if I think there's someone, I will usually reach out. I don't know that when you're in the early days, you can actually tell that someone has interest, you know, they're asking questions, they're, if you're sensitive enough, you'll know that they have an interest. They're asking questions. They want to know more about what you're doing, and you know what your interests are, what your future is, and that sort of thing. If there is something in that line, that could be a hint. Now I know it's more complex than that, and that asking questions could also be something else. But that is one very big hint that someone is offering to give that kind of guidance. Yeah, I think that's all I could say for now.
Okay, thank you very much. James, may I just personally, like, straight off ask you, do you currently have a mentor?
Yes, I do. I have not only one, I have several mentors.
Okay.
For my spiritual journey, there is a relationship that I've kept for, I'd say it's coming to 86, 96, 2006, 2016. So it's over 30 years. And this is it was a lot closer in the earlier days. It's not as close in terms of daily contact now, but usually if I'm making major decisions in my life, there is somebody, at least one person that I recognize as somebody who has been my mentor, and I've followed him quite a bit. Now, professionally, I still do.
That's great.
Professionally,
yeah, what a blessing.
I have a mentor professionally, the doctor who helped. And initially, it was very, very close. But now I do have, I mean, again, when it comes to major professional things, we'll have a talk. And along the way, other people came for professionals, because you find that in some cases, the mentee actually grows and becomes better than the mentor. But then you find that there are certain areas where you need that hand. And so I think of two other people came alongside and helped me start out dentistry, and the other one is still an ongoing relationship. We meet, maybe once or twice a year. It's somebody who lives abroad and comes to work with me. So in that regard, I also have. So they can. You don't only need one mentor. Depending on what you're doing, you may have several of them. So the answer to the question is yes, yes.
And that's amazing. Now, regarding that, right now, what are some of the as we stand in the doorway of a new age, what are some of the things, without being too personal, what are some of the things that you're seeking mentorship for?
Are you talking professionally?
It's a broad question, I suppose, but yeah, professionally or even spiritually, what are some points where you're seeking mentorship right now?
Well, professionally, there's a field of dentistry which I'm seeking to grow in, and there is someone I know who is far ahead. I mean, he's done thousands of cases, so it's somebody I'm following, and I always consult them. When I have, they have actually helped me step broader and broader in that, greater and greater, deeper and deeper into that field. Spiritually, my relationship with what I'd call my spiritual father or mentor in that sense has changed a lot over the years. In the beginning, it was much more mentor-mentee. Its transitions morphed to almost, a time comes when you're almost like colleagues. I still have a lot of respect for him. I see him as my head. But there are times he comes to consult me, which is a very interesting place to be in. So it has morphed into a relationship that is almost peer, but not exactly peer, if I may put it that way. So it's still an area of growth, but a lot more decision making. As we go through face an uncertain future, you always want to hear what someone else is thinking.
That is wonderful, thank you. And that's a great segue to the next question, which is flipping it back. And if you were the mentor this time, how can a mentor benefit from a mentee? Let's say, mentors tend to be very busy people who are giving you your time, right? So what makes a mentee worth your while? What benefit can a good mentee give to a mentor? And maybe you can speak a little bit from your own experience.
Yeah, lots of benefits, because as a mentor, you have an opportunity to test ideas. You may have thoughts you want to test within the realm of safety. You have an opportunity to test that. As you do that, you also grow. As the mentee reaches their next level, you actually grow as well. That's what many people don't realize. The mentor sometimes learns more than the mentee in that experience, because there's a principle of giving. The more you give, the more you receive. Also, I find renewed enthusiasm, in discussing, especially now we are dealing with the younger generation, the millennials, and they have so many ideas, so they stretch you. I've found that I've had to step into areas that I initially thought, this is not important. For example, I took a long time to get online, check my business online. It's my mentees who pushed me into it. They said, look, this is a new world. You've got to, eventually I gave in. So there are benefits in that sense as well. And there's also a very strong sense of satisfaction. It is just so great to see someone grow. Just even today, as I was coming to this meeting, I was reading postings from somebody who in many ways have been a mentor too. I took them from, when they just left school, I've worked with them, helped them hone their skills. They went and did postgraduate studies, came back. And recently we had a conversation about what they wanted to do, and they wanted to stay. But then I told them, look, I think a better opportunity is there for you. It's a growing up. When my kids grow up, a time comes when they leave home. So I think it's fine. Don't feel like you're tied to us. I really want the best for you. So this new opportunity that has come, you take it. So it's a great sense of satisfaction. And also an improved ability to share experience and to share knowledge. So there are lots of benefits for the mentor.
Hello, Dr. Magara. June has just dropped out, and let me just quickly take over. And I'll thank you very much for your responses. I'll just pick up a question from one of the participants, that is Kwikiriza. And this is an interesting one. How far should a mentee pursue an opportunity to be mentored? How far should they reach out?
Well, if there is no, I think of one of my mentees who came to me. They came in and said, "Look, I want to work with you." And at first, I was thinking, I was watching and seeing, because a lot of people say that. But then they were kind of not exactly aggressive, but proactive. I kept listening. Actually, eventually I accepted. But at first I thought, I'm not sure this is going to work. So I think there should be a level of seeking out the mentor. So there has to be a willingness on both sides. Maybe a hunger on the side of the mentee, but a willingness on the side of the mentor to share and be vulnerable and to share life, as it were. So I can't give you a straight line that don't go beyond this, but certainly if you've made 1, 2, 3 requests or attempts to establish that kind of relationship and you don't get feedback, I think it's time to back off.
Okay, thanks so much, James. I'm back. And I was dropped off a little bit by network. I believe that we have asked a lot of the questions that have come on the chat group. Joshua, I think you're continuing with some of the questions, or are we going to save them for a little bit later?
Yes, one last one, really, just one last one. Perhaps it's actually answered before, but it's phrased differently this time. It says, how do I position myself to be seen by potential mentors?
Oh, that's a good one. How do you position yourself? I think if you are genuinely interested in what you do, I think that anyone who is genuinely interested in what they do, who tries to do things well within the confines of what they know, will be spotted. I don't think there's such a need for good people in many different spheres of life that I think the area, the key thing is just to be the best you are. Just try and do the best you can. Give 110%. Sooner or later, someone is going to see what you're doing.
Yes. One more. Sorry, I'm behaving like somebody in the church auction. Just saying one more time. Just one more. Somebody's asking if there is a difference between mentoring and coaching. That is Mukisha.
Okay. You have coaching, you have teaching.
That's a good one.
I teach, for example, I lecture, I teach. I just have students I teach. There's teaching. There is coaching. Coaching, you come alongside on a particular maybe skill, or it's a shorter term engagement. Mentoring involves a bit more. It involves a bit more. It takes more than just the skill. It brings, for example, look at a football coach. A football coach may play both the role of a mentor as well, but they are teaching you how to become good at the game. Okay, that's their main focus. Now, to become good at the game requires that you have certain character attributes as well. A mentor will go beyond just the skill. They may get more involved in character formation as well. And that's how I see it.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, James. I think that concludes the interview. There's so much more we want to ask you. There's so much that as AVODA, we would love to discuss with you about how it is, how we should mentor young Christian Ugandan entrepreneurs. So, you know, we hope to keep this discussion ongoing in various different venues. We just want to say on behalf of everybody in the room right now, thank you, and may God bless you for your time and your wisdom that you have imparted upon us.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Thanks a lot, everyone, for coming. But June, maybe you'd like to take on this one last one. How do I present myself to a mentor? Do I write a CV? Is there an application form? What do I do?
Yeah, so I also mentor quite a few people, and to be honest, you know, there are just all these people who have honored me by asking me, hey, can you be a mentor? And to be honest, there is a difference between, I think, finding or let's say identifying a good mentor and convincing the mentor to mentor you, and then keeping that mentorship, keeping that relationship. And I think that to catch the mentorship, the mentor's attention, you know, to have that mentor first identify, like, oh, this is a very interesting person. That's the important thing, like James was saying. Be giving it 110%. You're really serious about what you do, and then you don't need a CV. You don't need, you know, some way to prove yourself. Especially if you're a young person, there's very little you can do at this moment to prove yourself, other than what you are passionately doing right now. And so, give it everything, and you know, hopefully, the mentor is somebody who is around you and is seeing that. And in that case, you don't even need to prevent your CV. And also, so that's identifying and finding. The other one is convincing. Now, most mentors, I think, have, you know, hundreds of people coming to them and saying, please be my mentor. And the ones that stand out tend to be not the, for me anyway, not the loud ones saying, you know, I'm so good at this. I'm doing this amazing thing or this exciting thing, so please mentor me. They tend to be the quieter ones, to be honest, the ones who are measured and serious. And they ask that one brilliant question to get my attention. But not in a Hollywood way. Like, you know, you don't walk up to your potential mentor and ask him, so what's the meaning of life? You know, you're courteous, you're respectful, and you just, you know, ask practically, can I have lunch with you, sir? Because I have a question, and you present your amazing question. It's that short usually. And keeping that mentor will go right back to you're giving your 110% the whole time. And, you know, the mentor is going to see that this person's either bound for success, and I want to be, you know, involved in this young person, and so he keeps the relationship, or that person's like, you know, I don't know if he's going to succeed, but someone being this serious, I want to be a mentor. I want to be a part of that person's life. So I hope that answers your question in 3 stages.
Thank you very much, June. All right. We are past our time, and I would like to just officially close. But before I do that, I would like to make some announcements in closing. First, we are very, very excited to have had Dr. James Magara. We want to thank you very much for having the time and sparing the time to be with us this evening. I would like to thank each and every participant for joining in from wherever you've joined in from. We hope that the lessons that you've gathered from this event are going to be impactful for you to seek mentorship, but also to mentor others who will be reaching out to you. Well, I'd just like to thank each and everyone from the AVODA team who is working behind the scenes to make sure everything is okay. We really appreciate each and everyone. If we could clap safely, I would have asked us to clap, but there is an emoji reactions for clapping. If you can just reach out to that and clap using the emoji, that would be grateful. You can see a few people already clapping using the emoji. Yes, thank you very much, everyone. I'll just make 5 announcements. Number 1, the AVODA Institute of Entrepreneurship is organizing a boot camp in July. But the AVODA Blue program is open now for applications. Please check our website to read more on these. In fact, there is a recovery 55% off tuition. There is a recovery tuition offer that we are making to bring in dedicated Christian entrepreneurs who will join into our community to be mentored, and in future we hope that these same Christian entrepreneurs will mentor others. And lastly, we are creating an online community, a community of Christian mentees, where it will be easy for you to find a mentor, but also for us to engage as people who are focused on mentorship. And if we will be reaching out to you with specific details, asking several questions which we are asking in our polls to make sure that you really want to join this community to keep forward the conversation on mentoring and mentorship. We are very glad to invite you to this community. So keep your eyes and ears open. We'll be reaching out to you with details on joining this community. We'd like to ask two people to turn on their videos and share their experience of mentorship, whatever level you have. 2 people. I would specifically like to ask Agnes, since she's been a very engaging lady. If you can, would you kindly turn on your video and just share with us your experience of mentorship? And I would also like to ask Kakuru Samuel, if you can, would you kindly turn on your video and share with us your experience of mentorship? We would like to hear from you as well.
Is it my turn? Okay. Hello, Joshua and June and everyone here. I've had a great time participating in this meeting. I've learned a lot. On to my experience of mentorship. I've had a couple of mentors. One, the spiritual mentor, has been more of an informal mentorship where we spent a lot of time together, a person that I admired so much, and I would ask so many questions. We would travel a lot together, and I considered her a mentor, even though I never asked her officially to be my mentor. So she would be my go-to person whenever I would have those kinds of questions that are difficult for me. Then in terms of professional mentoring, I've also had a mentor that I would go to. This person looked out for me and saw potential in me for greater things in life. And they started out with me even when I had just completed school. They walked the journey with me about how to go about my work through several jobs, even up to this point. Yeah, so I would say mentoring is something that has taken me steps higher than I would ever be if I didn't have the mentors. Thank you, and over to you, Joshua.
Kakuru Samuel, I pointed you out.
Yes, thank you so much for the opportunity, Joshua and AVODA, for bringing this kind of event to us. My mentor has always told me one thing, especially when we started running our company in 2018. He always told me to learn from the experiences, the mistakes, especially that we are making as a business, hiring fellow young people. Actually, we had some challenges with that, but he always told me, what challenges are you learning? Even when we would create encounter some problems, he always told us, which lessons are you learning? And even up to now, when we even started making some money, he always told me one thing and shared scenarios of team management, running a profitable business, and patience, how to be patient in running a company of your own, and of course growing into a business, into somebody that is running a successful business. So because that mentor of ours, actually you rarely meet like physically, so it is always exchange emails. It's just a matter of exchanging emails. But of course, we would want to have mentors who you can meet physically. Let's say every month you meet with the mentor, you share experiences, you share your personal experiences. You like I shared on the group, like asking the number of mentors one is supposed to have, because we run different aspects of our lives. So really, we would want to have more than 2 mentors, where one mentors you about business, another one mentors you about other aspects of life. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, everyone, for attending, and we look forward to having you in our next event as we exit. How do they say? Exit us at will. We look forward to engaging with you more.